Lesson 110. Settle, rested, unsettled, forever, stir, United Nations, UN. Come on. Are there any mountains in your country where snow settles on the top, even in the middle of summer?
No, there aren't any mountains in my country where snow settles on the top, even in the middle of summer.
Would you be surprised if you were walking across a park and a bird came and settled on your shoulder?
Yes, I'd be surprised if I were walking across a park and a bird came and settled on my shoulder.
Would you find it difficult to settle in a foreign country forever?
No, I wouldn't find it difficult to settle in a foreign country forever.
Why not?
Because I would learn the ways of that country.
If you couldn't settle your bill in a restaurant because you didn't have enough money with you, what would you do?
If I couldn't settle my bill in a restaurant because I didn't have enough money with me, I'd phone a friend.
When you add sugar to a cup of coffee, what happens if you don't stir it?
When you add sugar to a cup of coffee and you don't stir it, the sugar settles to the bottom of the cup.
If two countries can't settle a political problem, where do they go in order to settle it?
If two countries can't settle a political problem, they go to the United Nations, UN, in order to settle it.
What does a teacher say to pupils when they are making too much noise?
A teacher says, "Come on now, settle down," to pupils when they are making too much noise.
If someone said that they were planning to go on holiday but that nothing had been settled yet, what would they mean?
If someone said that they were planning to go on holiday but that nothing had been settled yet, they would mean that they had not made any final decisions yet.
What do we mean by unsettled weather?
By unsettled weather, we mean weather that's constantly changing.
Partly. Would you say that success in life was partly a question of luck?
Yes, I'd say that success in life was partly a question of luck.
Brave. Do soldiers have to be extremely brave when they go into battle?
Yes, soldiers have to be extremely brave when they go into battle.
Tidy. What does it mean to be tidy?
To be tidy means to keep things in their proper place.
Are you a tidy person?
Yes, I'm a tidy person.
Is it often difficult for parents to get their children to tidy their rooms?
Yes, it's often difficult for parents to get their children to tidy their rooms.
Act. Stage. Intermediate. Advanced. Have you ever acted on the stage in the theatre?
No, I've never acted on the stage in the theatre.
Would you be afraid to act on the stage?
No, I wouldn't be afraid to act on the stage.
At what stage of your English studies are you at the moment? Beginner, intermediate, or advanced?
I'm at an intermediate stage of my English studies at the moment.
At what stage of a man's life does his hair begin to drop out?
A man's hair can begin to drop out at any stage in his life. It depends on the individual.
Stream. Upstream. Downstream. On fire. What is a stream?
A stream is a small river.
If you followed a river upstream, where would it eventually lead you to?
If you followed a river upstream, it'd eventually lead you to the mountains or hills.
And if you followed it downstream, where would it eventually lead you to?
If you followed it downstream, it'd eventually lead you to the sea or a lake.
If you saw a stream of people streaming out of a building in a hurry, what did you think?
If I saw a stream of people streaming out of a building in a hurry, I'd think that either the building was on fire or that the people had just finished work.
Relative clauses. 2. Defining and non-defining clauses. Define. What are the two types of relative clause?
The two types of relative clause are defining and non-defining clauses.
What's the difference between a defining relative clause and a non-defining relative clause?
The difference between a defining relative clause and a non-defining relative clause is that a defining relative clause identifies which person or thing we are talking about, whereas a non-defining relative clause simply gives us extra information about them.
Give me an example of a sentence containing a defining relative clause, please.
The milk that you bought this morning is in the fridge.
Give me an example of a sentence containing a non-defining relative clause, please.
My new glasses, which I bought yesterday, are really expensive.
How is a non-defining clause separated from the main part of the sentence?
A non-defining clause is separated from the main part of the sentence by commas.
The woman that works in the library is very tall. The train that leaves at 6 p.m. is always full. But London, which is the capital of England, is very large. When can we use the relative pronoun that instead of who or which?
We can use the relative pronoun that instead of who or which in defining clauses. We cannot use that in non-defining clauses.
Give me an example, please.
The biscuits that I ate were very tasty.
Correct the mistake in this sentence, please. London, that is the capital of England, is a big city.
London, which is the capital of England, is a big city.
Idiom 11. For good equals forever. What does the idiom for good mean?
The idiom for good means forever.
Give me an example, please.
They're such a perfect couple, I'm sure they'll stay together for good.